Today I want to deliver the lesson on parasitic protozoa. It is under the syllabus of Birbhum University, subject Zoology, B.Sc General, DSE-I, Semester 5, Module 1. Topics: Parasitic protozoa. The syllabi are introduction of the protozoan parasite, types of protozoan parasite, kinds of malaria, and pathogenicity of the protozoan parasite. What is parasite? An organism that depends on its host for some essential metabolic and with which reciprocal chemical relationship exists, that is called parasite. And what is host? Host is an organism that harbors a parasite being provided with nourishment and shelter. And types of host: primary host and secondary host. Primary host, also known as the definitive host. Here, in the case of the malaria, the disease malaria is caused by the female Plasmodium vivax, and it is transmitted by the vector female Anopheles mosquito. Here, primary host or definitive host is the man, and secondary host is the mosquito. Man is the vertebrate host, or mosquito is invertebrate host. That's the two types of the host are here. What is vector? Vector is the essential intermediate host, usually an arthropod, in which the parasite take place a part of life cycle. Here, protozoan parasite, that is Plasmodium, carries by the female. Here, protozoan parasite Plasmodium carries by the female Anopheles mosquito. Female Anopheles mosquito is a vector of the disease malaria, which is caused by the pathogen Plasmodium species. Here, the chapter man is called the definitive host. Why? According to Cheng, the sexual maturity attained in the man, so man is called a definitive host. Mosquito is the secondary host. It is divided into content, objective, and course outcomes. Introduction. Objectives. Why do we read parasitic disease? What is protozoan parasite? And course outcome. The importance of the pathogenic disease. The vector of malarial parasite. How many types of malaria? What is vector? How we express the transmission of the disease, that is called the objectives. And course outcome, what is the meaning of the malaria and the transmission of the parasitic disease. Then host parasitic disease. What is the objectives? How many hosts are found? How many types of protozoan parasite? Course outcome, conceptual about the primary and definitive host and secondary host. And last of all, life cycle of the malarial parasite, asexual and sexual stage. What is the objective? It is the asexual and sexual cycle. The concept of primary erythrocytic, exoerythrocytic, and erythrocytic cycle and gametogony. It is the course outcome of the life cycle of malarial. The malaria is derived from the Italian word malaria, meaning bad air. Malarial parasite is an protozoan parasite. Malignant malaria is caused by the protozoan parasite Plasmodium falciparum. Scientist Laverian first introduced or identified the presence of the malarial parasite found in human body. And 1898, Sir Ronald Ross first time reported that female Anopheles mosquito as a vector of the malarial parasite. Malaria threatens the lives of the 40% of the world population nearly 2,200 million people. Types of malaria. Malarial parasite is the 4 types as well as Plasmodium vivax, Plasmodium falciparum, Plasmodium ovale, and Plasmodium malariae. And 5th parasite is known as the Plasmodium knowlesi. It is not only human malaria, in others to the primates. The human malaria is caused by the infection of the Plasmodium vivax transmitted by the infective female Anopheles mosquito. Kinds of malaria in human: disease, species of parasite, and fever intervals. First of all, benign tertian malaria. It is caused by the Plasmodium vivax and 48 hours in fever interval. Malignant malaria is a plasmodium caused by the Plasmodium falciparum, 40 to 48 hours fever interval. And ovale tertian malaria is caused by the Plasmodium ovale, 72 hours fever interval. Quatern malaria, it is caused by the Plasmodium malariae and fever interval 72 hours also. The life cycle of malarial parasite. We know that it is that take part in the 2 stages: asexual, found in the man, and sexual, also take place in the female Anopheles mosquito. Female Anopheles mosquito. Sexual cycle divided into 3 cycles. Firstly, it is pre-erythrocytic cycle, the exoerythrocytic cycle, and third, erythrocytic cycle. And there is no division of the sexual cycles. It is only found in the female Anopheles mosquito. In case of the asexual, it takes place in the human body, in the organ of the liver. It is attack organ of the liver in man. RBC, that means red blood corpuscles, the bloodstream. Our female Anopheles mosquitoes, it is only for mid-gut wall and salivary gland. In case of the man, parasite reproduced in zygogony and produce merozoite. In case of the sexual cycle, in the gut wall of the female Anopheles mosquito and sporogony and produce sporozoite. Effective stage of the parasite is called the merozoite. In case of the sexual cycle, the infective stage of the parasite is known as the sporozoite. Now, the asexual cycle, it takes place in the human body or man when the parasites, that means the sporozoite, are inoculated by the bite of the infected female Anopheles mosquito is in the bloodstream of a man. And it is affected in the liver parenchymal cell. Each sporozoite develops into the zygote in the process of the zygogony. This phase of the multiplication within the parenchymal cell of the liver, this liver is called the erythrocytic cycle. The sporozoite. Liver parenchymal cell. Liver parenchymal cell, sporozoite enter into the liver parenchymal cell and it is transformed into the process zygoend. In the process of zygogony, this phase multiplication with the parenchymal cell is called the pre-erythrocytic cycle. Pre-erythrocytic cycle. Here, merozoites transform into the cryptomerozoites. Cryptomerozoites attack into the fresh liver cell. Cryptomerozoite and continue the cycle. It is called the exoerythrocytic cycle. And last of all, the erythrocytic cycle. Cytic cycle, where cryptomerozoites divided into two, like microcryptomerozoites and macrocryptomerozoites. Microcryptomerozoites enter into the RBC of the bloodstream. RBC in the mature human body is non-nucleated, but microcryptomerozoite contains a nucleus enter into the RBC. Then it is transformed into the trophozoite stage. Trophozoites, TROPHOZOI, trophozoite stage, and it is a ring-like structure. Nucleus is take part in the end of the ring, and then it is transformed into the signet ring stage. Signet ring stage looks like a ring of the finger, and it is the identifying mark of the Plasmodium, infected Plasmodium vivax. And next stage is the amoeboid stage. Here the inner containing materials look like amoeboid, and this stage is known as the amoeboid stage. Then it is contains the cytoplasm and nucleus, and rest of the cytoplasmic complex is known as the dots, the suffiniers dots. Then the stage of the rosette, it is looks like the petals of the rose, is nucleus contained with the cytoplasm and looks like a rose. Rosette stage. Then rosette stage is transformed into the into the merozoite and liberate merozoites from the RBC rupture, and then merozoites are liberated. Then rupture of the zygones are burst. A number of the erythrocytic merozoites are set free from the RBC, and it is now then start the gametogony. The few zygones are not take part in the biological changes; they are take place in the reproduction. These three changes are the merozoites are called the gametocytes. The gametocytes occurs into the human body. Here male gametocytes and female gametocytes are formed. Male gametocytes and female gametocytes are formed into binary fusion and produce into zygote. So erythrocytic cycles in the man, it is part of the asexual cycle, but gametogony, the sexual cycles are starting from here. For this reason, man is a definitive host. Now comes on the sexual cycle. It is take place in the mosquito, in the female Anopheles mosquito. Sexual method is a sporogony and to form the parasite sporozoite. Microgametocytes and macrogametocytes are transformed and egg vagillations takes place, and after fertilization they formed a zygote. After ingestion of the blood meal of the biting female Anopheles mosquito, the male and female gametocytes become activated into the mosquito gut. After fertilization, within the 24 hours, the enlarging zygote become motile and it form in the ookinete. It form in the ookinete, which are penetrates in the wall of the mosquito stomach, where insist of the oocyst. These oocysts are finally into the bust, and sporozoite migrated into the coelomic cavity of the mosquito. The sporozoites then migrate up to the salivary gland of the mosquito, and within the 24 hours the enlarging zygote becomes motile and form the ookinete, which is the penetrate wall of the mosquito. Then the sporozoites migrates to the salivary gland of the mosquito to the inoculations of the healthy person, human body, during feeding. The development of the mosquito takes place about 8 to 35 days. This is the complete of the sexual cycles. Total asexual and portions and sexual portions are completed in the life cycles of the Plasmodium, and it is the too much more effective and informative lesson of all of the students. Please remember it and read it thoroughly with pictures and your content and assignments also. Thank you.